You're on a plane, middle seat, a stranger next to you. 90 minutes in, and you've told them things you've never said out loud to your own mother. The cab driver knows about the breakup. The guy at the gym knows about the job you hate. The girl you met once at a coffee shop 3 years ago still texts you on your birthday and somehow knows you better than your own brother does. Then you go home for the holidays, same table you've sat at your whole life, surrounded by people who share your blood, your last name, your childhood bedroom, and you feel like a guest. You smile, you answer the questions, you pass the food, and you count the minutes until you can leave. Why does someone you'll never see get pieces of you that your own family has never gotten close to? You're not broken, you're not ungrateful, and you're not alone. Here's what's actually going on. Reveal 1. Strangers are a clean slate. Every conversation with someone in your family carries history behind it. Whatever you say next gets sized up against every version of you they've ever known. The kid who slammed the door in an argument years ago, the choice they never quite let go of, that one comment at dinner nobody's forgotten. A stranger has none of that. They didn't watch you grow up. They don't remember your worst year. When you tell them something, they're only responding to the person sitting in front of them right now. A study published in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin found that people disclose more personal, even embarrassing information to strangers they don't expect to see again than to people who already know them. Researchers call this the stranger paradox. We open up most to the people who know us least because there's nothing riding on it. That cab driver isn't safer because he's a better listener. He's safer because tomorrow you're both gone. Reveal 2. Family comes with a script you never agreed to. Family doesn't just remember who you were, it assigns you a role and quietly expects you to keep playing it. The responsible one, the dramatic one, the one who's always been so quiet, the one who never talks about her feelings. Family systems theory, developed by psychiatrist Murray Bowen, describes exactly this. Families function less like a group of individuals and more like a single emotional unit, where each person gets locked into a fixed role and any attempt to grow past it gets quietly resisted because it destabilizes the whole system. So when you actually change, the people who've known you longest are sometimes the last to notice, not because they don't love you, because the system was never built to update. A stranger only ever meets the person you are today. Nobody there to reject the new version, nobody there holding you to the old one. Reveal 3. Weak ties give you something strong ties can't. Sociologist Mark Granovetter's landmark research on what he called the strength of weak ties found something counterintuitive. The people on the edges of our lives, acquaintances, strangers, people we barely know, often give us more new perspective and more genuine insight than the people closest to us. Close relationships tend to circle the same opinions, the same shared history, the same blind spots. Weak ties break that loop. A stranger doesn't already assume they know what you're going to say next. They actually have to listen. That's why an offhand conversation with someone you met once can leave you feeling more understood than a 2-hour dinner with people who've known you for 20 years. Reveal 4. Strangers trigger real connection with zero stakes. Dr. Gillian Sandstrom, a psychologist at the University of Sussex who has spent over a decade studying stranger interactions, found that the quality of people's conversations with strangers and acquaintances predicted their sense of belonging and mental well-being just as strongly as the quality of their closest relationships did. Psychologists describe the warmth that shows up in these brief exchanges as positivity resonance, a real, mutual, emotional connection that doesn't require years of history to exist. It can happen in 5 minutes with someone whose name you'll forget by tomorrow. And because there's no relationship to protect and no long-term consequences to manage, that connection can feel lighter, freer, less like something you have to maintain, and more like something you simply get to feel. So here's what this actually means about you. Feeling closer to a stranger than to your own family isn't a betrayal, it isn't a character flaw, and it isn't proof that something is wrong with you. It means you know exactly what real connection feels like when it isn't weighed down by history, expectation, or an old version of yourself someone refuses to let go of. It means the closeness is possible. It's just easier to find where the slate is clean. That doesn't mean your family doesn't matter. It means the connection you're craving from them is the same one you're already capable of giving. You've just been finding it in airports and coffee shops and the seat next to you on a train, because that's where nobody's asking you to be who you used to be. The version of you that stranger met, that's not a performance. That might be the most honest version of you there is. Tell me in the comments, who's the stranger who somehow ended up knowing more about you than your own family? A cab driver, a seatmate, someone you met once and never saw again? You don't have to explain why it happened. After everything we just covered, we already know. If this made you feel understood, hit subscribe. We break down the psychology that actually explains you.